Hello everybody, my name is Gopi Upreti. Currently I live here in Fairfax, Virginia. I am a retired university professor. I taught at Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science under Tribhuvan University in Nepal. My specialty area is agriculture and environmental science. I was a doctoral fellow at East-West Center in Hawaii from 1988 to 1992 when I was doing my postgraduate study at University of Hawaii. In this video, I will be talking about my book, a brief introduction about my book. The title of this book is Ecosociocentrism, the Earth First Paradigm for Sustainable Living. This is the book. The title of this book, as you can see over here, is Ecosociocentrism, the Earth First Paradigm for Sustainable Living. I'd like to thankfully acknowledge and appreciate the America-Nepal Society for giving me this opportunity to briefly talk about my book. Thank you very much for asking me this question. Before I talk about what really motivated me to write this book, I just want to briefly talk about the current, Anthropocene epoch. You see, over the last 50 years of this Anthropocene epoch, the current growth economic paradigm has relentlessly and unsustainably extracted the earth's resources to feed the insatiable appetite for the growth and the promotion of ecologically hostile consumerism. You see, I'm using this term, ecologically hostile consumerism. Some people may not agree with this, but these models' egregious consequences are far-reaching and ravaging the health and the integrity of the planet Earth. And the devastating fallout from this model is manifested in the catastrophic breakdown of the Earth system, extinction and the annihilation of millions of the species in nature, acidification and toxic pollution, coral reef destruction, and the desertification of the previously fertile land, and deglaciation of the Arctic region and the Hindu Kush Himalayas. The glacier receding is a big problem. And in a way, the continuity of Homo sapiens and the Earth living system now hangs in the balance under increasingly ominous cloud of uncertainty. So we are living in the era of uncertainty, and this era is called Anthropocene era. I want to briefly bring this to my audience. I just want to briefly talk about what really motivates me to write this book. I must mention this one very important pivotal moment. When I read this great book, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson, that was published in 1970. This book actually revealed a very important facts about the environmental pollution, and the revelation marked the beginning of the new era in the environmental awareness, actually. Another very important publication was The Limit to Growth, a seminal report by the MIT professor Donella Meadows' team in 1972. whole team actually that time, what their model predicted has come out to be so true today. In the beginning, this limit to growth model was criticized by the mainstream economists who were kind of advocating the infinite economic growth model. But interestingly, whatever they predicted in 1972 have come out to be so true today. Another very important book that I came across was Our Common Future, that was published by the Brundtland Commission in 1987. Brundtland, she was the Prime Minister, Norwegian Prime Minister, and the United Nations formed a commission under her chairpersonship, a World Commission on Environment and Development. That report was very important report in the sense that for the first time the report acknowledged that the poverty in the global south and the unsustainable resource production and consumption pattern in the global north are intricately linked to the environmental problem. And ever since the publication of the Our Common Future, that book, the environment and sustainable development, they became the center stage of the development discourse and discussion all across the world. Another very important thing this Our Common Future report did was, for the first time, it came up with the definition of a sustainable development. Of course, that sustainable development definition is a very general, but ever since sustainable development has become the touted model of the development and the progress, and we are still today, I think every nation, every corporate entity, and all the development experts, they talk about the sustainable development. So this is going on like that. But when there was one very interesting thing that I noticed in this report, Our Common Future. That is that the prescription, the assumptions, and whatever methodology that was prescribed in this report somehow did not actually take into consideration of the basic ecological principles and the laws that actually underpins the sustainable environmental sustainability and sustainable development. And I wrote a very long review, criticizing this report way back in 1992. And I submitted that article to a very prestigious international journal, that is the Journal of the Environmental Conservation. And it took almost about 2-3 years to publish that paper because there were a lot of review back and forth. I had to kind of review and answer the some of the very critical objection raised against the paper by the mainstream environmental scientists that time. But even then, with that all, that paper actually was published, and that paper got the Best Paper Award of 1994. So I was invited to receive the award in Switzerland, and then in a dinner party, the editor-in-chief, the great visionary Nicholas Polunin, he inspired me by suggesting that I should actually expand the basic ideas and concept into a full-fledged book, because that article was something they never thought that would be so consequential at that time. So I wanted to write a book actually with two objectives in my mind. One is I wanted to introduce an ecological science and wisdom based paradigm of the environmental and social sustainability, recognizing the finite limit of the earth system, and secondly, to provide an alternative development framework and policy imperative that can help achieve the sustainable living within the biocapacity of the planet Earth. So, my motivation for focusing on the Earth First paradigm for sustainable living actually that stems from a deep commitment to addressing the global environmental crisis and redefining the path of the sustainable living on this planet. One of the most important pivotal idea uh, and the concept that stands as the cornerstone for achieving sustainable living that I have really espoused in this book is the integration of political economy with the ecology of nature. You see, the integration of political economy with nature's ecology is the most important concept that I have introduced in this book. The understanding the intricate relationship between our current global political economy and the Earth's ecology is very important, it's a paramount. Because at its core, the global political economy has been driven by the reckless profiteering and the relentless accumulation of the man-made capital, which we call wealth. It thrives on a cutthroat, unhealthy competition for the control of the earth resources, often manifesting through military might and the economic political superstructures. The biggest problem associated with the current global political economy is its infinite growth model that does not recognize the finite biocapacity of the earth system and does not operate within the carrying capacity of the planet Earth. I remember Mahatma Gandhi once said very truly, the quote, Earth has enough resources to satisfy the need of the everybody, but not the greed of everybody. So it is the insatiable greed of the corporate and the powerful elite that is fueling the global environmental and climate crisis today. The integration of the global political economy with nature's ecology is not a matter of choice or if, but it is just a matter of when. The sooner we actually embark on this integration of earth ecology with the political economy, the less environmental destruction and the human suffering we will endure in the future. The integration hinges on recognizing the intrinsic values of nature, such as biodiversity, interconnectedness, interdependence, resilience, and ecosystem health. The integration involves maintaining ecosystem health and implementing the natural resource accounting, safeguarding natural capital, and commitment to zero discount on the nature. Furthermore, it entails accelerating the transition from fossil fuels to nature's renewable energy sources and advancing science and technology that enhances and maintains the biocapacity of our planet. These principles collectively form the bedrock of the environmental and social sustainability. Therefore, it is imperative that ecological wisdom guide our political economy, and that can actually steer the trajectory of the development, today's development, away from the Anthropocene towards what I prefer to call as the Symbiocene. The Symbiocene is characterized by a regenerative circular economy aligned with the ecological regenerative process of nature. Until now, it is the political economy that is driving everything. But now the time has come that the ecological wisdom, ecological science-based wisdom actually drive the political economy so that Homo sapiens along with other living systems in nature can live in a symbiotic relationship with each other. Therefore, the sustainability necessitates the preservation of the earth system and its health to meet the needs of the both present and the future generation while upholding the principles of the fairness and the equity. The notion that science and technological innovation can address these challenges without concurrent shift in human behavior and cultural change is unrealistic from the ecological perspective. The integration of political economy with ecology of nature stands as a transformative concept of my book. This integration is not only crucial for addressing the global environmental crisis, but also for ushering an era of regenerative and circular economy, which can lead us from the Anthropocene to the Symbiocene, a vision that promises a more sustainable and harmonious coexistence with all living systems on our planet. Well, today we find ourselves in a critical juncture in the Earth's history, where humanity's impact on the environment has reached a level that threatens not only planet's health, but also the very existence of the interconnected web of life, including our own. Addressing the pressing challenges of climate change, ecosystem collapse, and the species extinction in the Anthropocene requires a profound shift, one that transcends the mere technological advancement or the surface level policy changes by nation states. What we need is a fundamental transformation of human collective consciousness and behavior, a transformation that enables us to view the environment, nature, not as a separate entity, but as an intrinsic, organic part of ourselves and all life on earth. The crux of my book, Ecosociocentrism, the Earth First Paradigm, revolves around the idea that to secure our collective future, we must first ensure the resilience and health of our planet's ecosystem. Therefore, it calls for a radical shift in our development model and thinking that can steer us towards a viable path for sustainable living on planet Earth. And to navigate this journey, I have proposed 10 directive principles and 8 strategic policy imperatives that require resolute political commitment. These principles and the strategic policy imperatives are rooted in the 4 fundamental assumptions. Assumption number 1 is that Sociosphere is inseparable from ecosphere and it cannot exist independently. Let me just explain what I mean by sociosphere. Sociosphere means the sphere of the society. That means that all the social, economic, technological, cultural system we have, that is collectively can be referred by sociosphere. Actually, that happens within the sphere of the society. So, ecosphere means the sphere of the nature. So, the sociosphere is inseparable from the ecosphere and it cannot exist independently. What I mean by that is that human social, cultural, economic system cannot exist independently outside of the nature. It is just a subsystem of the nature. And second assumption is that infinite economic growth is intrinsically unattainable because it is constrained by the entropy law and the finite biocapacity of the earth system. So infinite economic growth is impossible because, according to the second law of the thermodynamics, which is also called the entropy law, and also the, biocapacity, finite biocapacity of the earth, we cannot increase the biocapacity of the earth indefinitely. So we have to limit our economic activities, technological activities within the finite biocapacity of the earth. Number 3 assumption is that scientific and technological innovation can enhance resource and the energy efficiency. Of course, that is true. But they cannot replace nature's life support system, or they cannot create additional new matter and energy, because matter and energy in the universe are constant. Neither we can create new matter nor the energy. All we can do is whatever is available, we transform from one state to another. That's all it is. And the number 4 assumption is that cyclical or circular, regenerative and distributive economic model that aligns with the ecology of the nature can provide the foundation for environmental and social sustainability. You see, these are the 4 basic assumptions. Within these assumptions, I think our economic, political, cultural superstructure has to operate within the limit of this assumption. And along with this, I have 8 strategic policy imperatives that I have, actually described in detail in page 350 of this book. And these are just I just want to mention them without going, detailed deliberation. Number 1 is that cultural change and adaptation for survival. This is a must. This is the number 1 strategic policy imperative. Recognizing that human cultural evolution has outpaced biological evolution, leading to an environmental crisis. So achieving sustainable living on planet Earth requires cultural change and adaptation towards ecologically enabling production and consumption culture guided by ecological wisdom. That is a must. So we human beings, Homo sapiens, we have to make the cultural adaptation for our own survival. And second is that, poverty eradication and debt, abrogation. You see, this poverty in developing country and also the, the current debt servicing of the global south is not only financial matter, but it is also a moral concern, a moral imperative. Because what is happening is that almost 25 to 30% of the developing countries' budget is allocated for debt servicing. In 2021 alone, nearly $400 billion from the global south that was I think the capital flight of $400 billion took place from global south to the global north in the name of the debt servicing. The global south has nearly $2 trillion of the debt. So this has become another problem. What I am suggesting is that this, debt servicing should be, I think, what we call is that, we can, I think if all the nation states agree, especially global north, then this this debt servicing should be swapped for the nature conservation and the investment in poverty eradication. If 25 to 30% of the debt servicing goes to the investment in the nature conservation, nature protection, and also eradication of the poverty, I think that will be a huge progress in terms of maintaining the healthy earth system. This may be a wishful thinking, but this is a very important thing. We have to, all nations in the world have to think about in the near future. Another important thing is, restoration of the degraded ecosystem. Ecological restoration focuses on reviving ecosystems that have suffered damage or degradation. Initiative like the European Parliament's Nature Restoration Law that recently passed in, I think, 2023, 23 is a very important initiative. I think all nations, because this requires that almost 20% of the Europe's terrestrial and the marine ecosystem are going to be restored by 2030. This is an exemplary work for the global efforts to enhance our planet's resilience. Why not all the nations actually emulate this noble strategy of restoring the degraded ecosystem? Another very important, policy strategy that every nation should actually adopt is the eco-regional or landscape level protection of the biodiversity. For example, you see the valuation of the biodiversity within the ecoregion and their protection provides a holistic approach to protection and conservation. So protecting mega ecoregion or biomes such as Amazon forest, Arctic glacier, tropical rainforest, Hindu Kush Himalayas, these are the example of the ecoregion. They must be protected now because that is very critical to maintain the Earth's biocapacity. You see? And another important policy strategy that I have actually included in this book and discussed in depth is integration of the global political economy and nature's ecology that I think already elaborated earlier. That is a must. That is the most important. And another one is the rapid transition from fossil fuel to the natural renewable energy resources. That is happening everywhere. We talk about solar energy, wind energy, green technology, hydrogen, green technology, all that kind of thing, and carbon capture, those kind of things. Those technology are emerging, but that is not alone. I mean, that cannot alone solve this problem. This problem requires a cultural and collective behavioral changes, uh, you know, in the humanity. So this book presents a comprehensive framework for addressing these urgent challenges posed by the climate change, ecosystem collapse, and the species extinction. It places individual communities and the policymaker at the forefront of a transformative journey towards sustainable living on our shared planet. By embracing these policies and the guiding directive principles, which I have outlined in this book, we can secure a more resilient, harmonious, and sustainable future for all. I believe that ecosociocentrism, the Earth's first paradigm for sustainable living, uh, holds the potential to significantly impact the academic discussion and inspire future research in the field of sustainable development, environmental and earth sciences, and ecological studies. It serves as a valuable resource that introduces challenging ideas, innovative concepts, and fresh perspective, inviting interdisciplinary exploration. This book has important bearing on academic and the academic scholarship and the discourse. And the book is special, kind of expected to stimulate interest within the academic community where scholars engage on examining and debating new concepts and complex ideas. Its interdisciplinary nature actually fosters discussion that span development studies, environmental sciences, ecology, climate change, and the sustainability discourse. It invites scholars to develop, to really discuss the content, analyze its concept, and assess the relevance in addressing pressing challenges of the Anthropocene. The book can serve as a valuable educational resources for students and educators. It has the potential to motivate and engage students studying environmental and earth sciences, inspiring them to explore its content and critically evaluate its contribution to resolving the current global crisis. Professors teaching these courses can use it as a reference book, enriching their curriculum and the fresh perspective. The intellectual exploration can lead to the development of innovative solutions and the policy recommendation. Educators can incorporate the book into their teaching materials, exposing students to its ideas and encouraging critical thinking. Academics can collaborate with the proactive environmental conservation and social organization by partnering with organizations like IUCN, WWF, WRI, Friends of Earth, Greenpeace, and others. Scholars can actually provide intellectual support and contribute research finding and to advance the organization program activities. Well, this the ideas and the concept espoused in this book also invites a lot of challenges and resistance. It is essential to acknowledge that the book faces resistance and criticism from the proponent of the dominant neoliberal growth model and politicians due to their short-term interest and the corporate greed for capital accumulation. The book challenges this model and advocates for its reform. Reform. Actually, we need to reform the current, neoliberal growth model to integrate ecological facts, values, and basic tenets of the modern democracy. So, ecosociocentrism unravels this inconvenient truth that humanity must confront for its own existential survival. So, the current dominant growth model may find it hard to actually acknowledge and admit this inconvenient truth. But the academicians and the researcher and the scholar, it becomes the duty for them to actually expose these inconvenient truth that most of the politicians and the mainstream economists don't want to talk about. So this book is all about this, exposing the inconvenient truth also.